on the wall. At some point, there will be a scandal. Something will be designed to take him down. He's doing, behaving the way he's behaving, confronting systems the way he's confronting them. I'd be stunned if LeBron goes unscathed for the next 20 or 30 years. I just don't think that's going to happen. So when that happens, just send me a text. The third point, Black 4-3, educate our own children, create our own jobs, support black businesses. Supporting black businesses, here's why that's important. In case you're not aware or you need another perspective on this. First off, we know what people, we know the rhetoric. Whenever we want to boycott other businesses or just support our own, people always twist that in, oh, you're racist, or that's not right, blah, blah, blah. But people like Dr. Paul Anderson make it very clear that they've been boycotting you since forever. Like they've always boycotted black businesses. They've always boycotted black businesses. So if black consumers, if black businesses cannot depend on black consumers, then they can't depend on anybody. They have no friends. And the other thing about supporting black businesses is that you're talking about something very basic and very simple when it comes to wealth building. Everybody's talking about reparations right now, and I'm all in support of that. I mean, of course we deserve reparations. No question. Problem is they can't pay the bill. The debt's too high. I don't think they're going to pay the full debt. The full debt is at least $15 trillion, but that's assuming you can put a dollar figure on 100,000 rapes and 50,000 castrations and whatever the numbers are, right? Assuming you can put a dollar value on 400 years of trauma and family destruction. I mean, assuming you can put a dollar value on it, that number will be about $15 trillion. They're not going to. They're talking about $500 billion. Couple $100 billion. They're not even talking about a number. They're talking about numbers that are so low that you almost don't even want it because you don't want them to think that because they wrote the check that everything's okay, that we're all good. If I steal $10 million from you and I write you a check for $5,000 and say we straight now, right? No. You'd be a sucker if you agree to that shit. You'd be a complete idiot. I'm sorry to apologize for cussing. This is coming out. That's God's talking to me. I got to share what he tells me. It's therapy. So here's the deal. We're talking about reparations and all this, and those things are important. I support that wholeheartedly. But here's what you got to understand, is that when you're really talking about economic repair and economic strength, and again, I'm not chasing equality or diversity or all these other, or inclusion, all these watered down. I'm talking about power. If you're talking about building real economic power, you must talk about the way the dollar bill works when you're circulating it through the community. When a dollar is circulated in a community and one time and leaves that community, that's $1. When that dollar is circulated 10 times in that community, that $1 becomes what? $10. Right. So that 1.3 trillion that they talk about every year, and they call it spending power, but that's a horrible term to use because there's no power and giving all your money away. That's like telling a little girl, oh, you're beautiful, you have lots of hoe power. Like you can be the best hoe on the block. That's not power. And you're not empowering her by telling her that. You're not doing that. You can tell her beauty is power, but you don't tell her like your power is to be the best prostitute you can be. You don't do that. But so when somebody tells you that our 1.3 trillion is spending power, then that is a misleading term in itself. But if you take that 1.3 trillion in economic power, where you can choose to spend it, invest it, or recirculate that, then that 1.3 trillion can become 5 or 10 trillion like that if we're all committed to circulating that money in the community. If I give my dollar to him and he goes and buys from her, she buys from her, she buys from him, then that dollar has been used several times in the same community, which is a magical increase in wealth. So I leave you guys with this important point. The key idea is that coming together is extremely important. We have everything that we need except each other. When we come together, economic models show that when people come together, like we're coming together right now today, when people come together, wealth just magically increases. Wealth magically is built. So everybody that talks about all the other topics that seem unrelated, like when they talk about health in the black community, they talk about relationships in the black community, all those things are related to your overall institutional empire building economic power because the ability to circulate your dollars, the ability to keep your wealth, the ability to grow your empires is all built on your ability to relate to and love one another. If I don't love you and I don't trust you, am I going to do business with you? No. If I don't love you and I don't trust you, am I going to come buy from you? No. Right, so ultimately, the ability to love, trust, forgive, build each other up, support each other is all deeply connected to our ability to come together economically. Because if you can't get along and you get caught up in what they call cancel culture, like, oh man, he pissed me off, I ain't messing with him no more. If you get in that mindset on a regular basis, then what happens is you end up stranded and all alone, and then all the energy, all the economic power, all the intellectual power, all the assets you could have brought back to your community are dissipated because you have nobody to work with, you have nobody to build with. So let me give you a tangible tip that you may want to try. This is what my family does. Every Sunday, we live in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. Every Sunday night, we get together on Zoom. Zoom is like Skype, except better, easier to use. Even grandma can use Zoom and Skype. And we get on there and we have a family business meeting. And the goal of the family business meeting is to talk about how we're going to build the Watkins family empire to be something that's going to last for the next 500 years. Wow. And when we get together and when we talk business for sure. That's when we bring our wealth together. And when I'm talking about wealth, I'm not talking about money. Most of the time when I say the word wealth, I am not talking about money. Money is one type of wealth. We're talking about the sharing of resources, sharing of ideas, sharing of contacts, sharing of all different kinds of assets and experiences that we can bring to the table to help each other succeed. It may even be moral support. We're sharing information. I find out that my sister's working on something that I can help her with, so I step in and help her, and next thing you know, my sister's making more money, and then she comes back and helps me with something, and then we're helping another cousin, right?
So you gotta help your family first.
Pulling our assets together and building an economy. The other thing that we're doing is we're getting an opportunity to relate to each other in ways that are non-economic. I get to see the baby. Oh, how's the baby's grown so much. I get to talk to my grandfather, 93 years old. Oh, hey, granddaddy, how you doing? Right? These are things that a lot of us don't do because we're so busy at work. You know, you're out here serving some white man's business, building his company every day, giving up 100,000 hours of your life. I added up how much time we spend on the job. It's about 80 to 100,000 hours.
But we're not building each other.
With people that you love.
Right.
Does it even make sense that parents spend more time with their job than they spend with their own children? That is not natural. That is not natural at all. And I'm going to tell you this too. When I started working around black folks most of the time, my stress level went way down. I was much happier with my life when I got to work with my own. In fact, I don't think about a lot of stuff that's happening in the world because most days I'm looking at people that look like you and I. And that is a beautiful world to me. That's a wonderful place to be. So
sorry, I can't control the lag.
Is to get
hopefully you guys are still getting the message.
Start with your empire.
Yeah, your team, your empire.
So-called black leaders are doing. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about me. If I can be of assistance, then go for it. But really, I'm talking about your empire, your family. What are you going to do for your family for the next 100 years? What are you going to plant? What seeds are you going to plant? What harvest will they have? How will they be better off than you? What are you going to build for them? We need a nation of builders.
We do.
Bottom line, we ain't white. We don't need a nation of job seekers. We need a nation of builders.
That's right.
Period. Thank you all very much.
A lot of people here, thank you guys so much for supporting.
Few questions. Somebody said few. Y'all just don't get it twisted. Said a few. Okay? So let's roll with it.
Can I ask a question about Bitcoin? Yeah, how is that moving? Like, what's going on with that?
I think that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general as an industry has a bright future. Cryptocurrency, particularly blockchain. Blockchain has a surefire bright future, which blockchain is the underlying technology behind cryptocurrency. Blockchain is here to stay. Cryptocurrency is probably here to stay. Bitcoin might be here to stay. Right? So my strategy when it comes to crypto is I do it like I do all the other assets. I just diversify. I don't put all my money in one place. One of the keys to investing is not put all your eggs in one basket. And you just wait and see what happens. And the thing about investing is it's like playing basketball. Sometimes you win games, sometimes you lose games. Sometimes you hit a shot, sometimes you miss. And so I can't say for sure exactly what the future of crypto is. A lot of it comes down to how they interact with these world governments. They have a lot to lose if cryptocurrency does emerge as an alternative to traditional currency.
Dr. What about teaching our children financial literacy? Where do we start? Where do we begin?
Okay, in terms of teaching your children financial literacy, and I think that's important. That's one of the things I didn't get a chance to mention, but we believe in the Black Business School that one way for Black people to get ahead is for us to send our children to business school when they're this age. I don't have anything against other things that we do. You know, we have a lot of expert basketball players and football players. I think that's great. But I don't believe that a Black child should know more about basketball or football than they know about economic survival and economic strength. Right? So ultimately, I think that whatever your child's age is, I think that you should start early. There are tons of resources on the internet. Now, if you want to know in particular, the program we have at the Black Business School is at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. I'll say it again, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Feel free to check that out. We also have some financial workbooks and flashcards that we created specifically for Black children. And you can go to financialworkbooks.com and take a look at that. That's financialworkbooks.com. Yes, sir.
Our relationships with other cultures of Africa, African business opportunity, and also bringing the knowledge there. Bringing the knowledge with African Americans, working with Africans.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will. I was definitely going to do that. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to get my question in.
About the connection between African Americans and Africa, the continent of Africa. And how important that is in economic development. I think that's critically important. In fact, I think that's the next big wave. I think that's the next big move that people are going to make, is understanding that our roots to our power go back to the diaspora. And many of the leaders in Africa that I've interacted with, they're on board with that completely. They're right now, I think it was the African Union, an ambassador came to the FraserNet conference, which is a networking conference, and she said, we want you to come back home. Like, come back home, you know. So there are people that are sending delegations back. I think the hurdle is people just don't know what to do. You know, a lot of African Americans only know America, right? And so I think there's an education process. But I know that we're definitely involved in that and supportive of that because I do think that that's where a lot of great opportunities lie. Africa is going to be the next China. In fact, even from a demographic standpoint, there's a young labor force there. Whereas in a lot of Asian countries and European countries, people are getting older, so the productivity of those countries is dropping, whereas Africa is really on the rise. There's a lot of opportunities there. Okay, you sir. Yes, sir.
So I don't know if you have you felt about rectifying, or at least apologizing to that ADOS and the turmoil that Khalid Kweli.
Talking about apologizing to ADOS.
I love you, brother, but I really didn't appreciate the interview you had with Talib. I thought that it really poisoned the waters, muddied the waters. I represent the Nation of Islam. I didn't like how the Cobra used the Nation of Islam to attack ADOS. So I let the brother remain. I'm trying to figure out, brother, how are we going to start the healing, because it's some real bad coke and blood. And coming to Kentucky, come to your backyard, brother. And I'm afraid that, you know, the wrong thing might get said. And Talib, you know, I got my own issues with Talib, you know, and so...
Right. Talib, he represents the nation and the ADOS movement. There's differences, Dr. Watkins, differences with
But I heard you, and I respect what you say. And when I saw your shirt, I said, man, I bet he's going to answer about ADOS, and I hope he does. I think it's good, though. I think it's really important to do that because... if you want my personal perspective, not that my opinion really matters that much, but the ADOS movement, I think, is a great idea, and the people that are in the movement are great people. I do not feel that way about the leadership in terms of the hashtag. I feel that when you have a movement that's built on attacking, you're attacking people from the diaspora, you're attacking Dr. Claude Anderson. They were not you, but they were attacking. Go look it up. They attacked Mr. Farrakhan. I can't fuck with that. You can't be attacking these people that have given so much to the community and claim to represent the community. So I think that the members of ADOS should say, this is what we are, this is what we represent. I'm ADOS, but I'm not supporting nobody who's attacking the people that I love. I can't rock with it. So that's where it stands. But I respect you. I appreciate you asking that question.
Can I ask a question regarding leverage?
Quick question. You said about LeBron.
LeBron question.
You're saying, well, I know you're not saying, but he shouldn't present himself as a strong black man. No.
Yes, I agree with you,
talking
Mike.
about LeBron.
He's not talking about LeBron. He's talking about the system.
He's
talking about the system.
He's
not talking about LeBron.
He's not talking about
LeBron
LeBron.
is doing everything
He doesn't. They ain't listening. They ain't listening.
That they're gonna come get him. But it's okay. It's okay because you can't run up the hill firing your gun and expect them not to shoot back. You know, and I think that's the problem. You have a lot of black people who think you can go fire shots and they're not gonna fire back, or they can demoralize. Like no, when you're in a battle, the other team is going to fight back. So I think LeBron is doing everything right. And I'm preparing people so that you can be prepared to defend him when they come get him.
Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson.
About young kids going to college, and I heard you talk about going into debt. Is there some type of program that we can go online or look up to help kids get out of debt?
So you're talking about people that went to college that are in the debt now?
Right.
You know, there's ways, actually even a lot of credit rating agencies and banks and stuff, they know the student loan debt problem is such a big crisis across the country that they don't really count that debt the same way they do like consumer debt, stuff like that. So there's ways to work it. At the very least, try to get out of default and get on a payment plan so that you show that you're at least trying to work toward eliminating the debt. But they're not stupid. They all understand that it's a crisis. So it's not like it's completely over, but you know, so you have to try to do something to show that you're trying to at least confront it. But I don't think they expect anybody to repay their debt because it shouldn't cost you, you know, $200,000 to go to college anyway. Right. Yeah, that's not even logical. So I think that eventually they're going to pass legislation because it's affecting everybody, not just.
Dr. Watkins, regarding leverage, my name is Shirley Husar. I'm with Urban Game Changers, where we hold our urban accountable, and that's what we're doing here. Leverage. We have a situation where we know there's private entities that are leveraging against other cultures against us. For example, in 2015, under President Obama, the Latino community worked with Wells Fargo and got $125 billion to build the infrastructure of their community. What money are we pressing on private businesses outside of government to leverage for our best interests? Because what we're finding is that in California, they're trying to have us assimilate, learn other people's languages and cultures. We're down to 6%. We have most of our people homeless. We have mental illness issues, and the elected officials locally are doing nothing. I'm not an immigrant. I'm not an illegal immigrant. I am a descendant of slaves, okay? My people built this country. We all know that story. The question is, how do we leverage, especially even within Hollywood, when we have all these Jewish people have foundations? We don't even have foundations fighting legally for our best interests with the police departments and everything. So leverage. How do we leverage private entities and even people in the entertainment industry?
Okay, I'll say this. I don't know the answer to every question, but I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think that if you want to know if I think politicians give black people a wrong deal, I've always felt that way. Y'all know I ain't Democrat, I'm not Republican, liberal, conservative, none of that. I'm just black, and that's where I want to be. And so ultimately, I don't really know. I don't really know how to. I mean, but you know, I've seen Wells Fargo trying to buy their way back into the black community. You know, every event I go to, a lot of them are sponsored by Wells Fargo, and it kind of bothers me because you know what Wells Fargo did to black people. You know, but I think, but I'll say this: if you have something that you're doing, and it's something that needs some backing or support, email that to us. Manager at boycewatkins.com. That's my manager's email address. And I'll support it. I'll shout it out.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I don't know exactly what to do in every situation, but I can support it.
I appreciate that, Dr. Watkins.
I have a question, and it's almost piggybacking off your comment. And my question is from a little bit different perspective, living kind of locally.
Speak louder.
I view it as we have a global opportunity. In this day of capitalism, this is something unheard of. You can reach across the borders very easily and have a lot more power in your hands than we know as a community. We also have global influence because we are recognized, Black Americans specifically, as a group are recognized globally as the strongest group in the world, as the world is very familiar with our experience that we survived capitalism. We survive now, I'm in the health business, that the chances of pre and postnatal care for a black woman is 450% higher than white counterparts of actually dying. What I'm asking Mr. Boyce Watkins is in the days of Uber, in the days of DoorDash, my son who was born in Israel just paid for a new car just for doing DoorDash, but he's coming from a different mindset. What things can we do collectively to take advantage of this engine before it gives out for us globally? We could be the ones that are creating the new Uber, the new DoorDash, the new this, and this reaches across the water. I just hired 2 people from Fiverr from Nigeria, so I'm really more interested in these type of platforms where we can combine as a community, invest in, go PTO, and we're all millionaires within a very short period of time. So I want to ask about those type of platforms. What suggestions do you have for that?
Let me just make a comment before we ask that question. The next question is capital question. We want the question versus the dissertation. Okay? That way more people can get a chance.
That's right, Sister Rose.
We'll be running on time and then we're playing
No time black people talk.
All right, let's give Dr. Barbara.
And you can feel free to email me your dissertation. I'll take a look at it. Is that Lonzo? What's happening, brother? I see you, man. That point is it's almost like there's a shorter and a longer term strategy on that. When you talk about creating these big tech companies, the DoorDashes and the Ubers and everything else, there's a mindset that comes with that. And when I mentioned that it's important for us to create a generation of builders, that's part of what I'm talking about. How many brilliant, black Mark Zuckerberg types have we had who ended up going to work for somebody else because the whole family told them to go get a good job, right? I think that we have to understand that entrepreneurship, it's a spirit and a culture as much as it is a skill set. And so in order to build entrepreneurial ventures, you have to have what I call fertile economic soil in your family. So that means that I don't know if anybody else has a family like this where like you tell them you quit your job and start a business and they kind of feel sorry for you. You know, like the white people must not have wanted you. Like the only reason he started his business because they don't want him at the post office, right? And it's not cool. It's not supported. And then even when people give moral support, they may not give financial support. And so what I want to encourage everybody to do is when you see somebody you care about going out and fighting a good fight, even if you think they're going to lose, jump in the fight with them. Just do like you did with your cousin. We go there, we go down together, right? Right. So ultimately,
Thank you guys for thumbs up and subscribers.
Building and entrepreneurship,
Share each other's messages.
things like that. That's where these
So that we have a conversation with each other first.
In terms of our children learning the right things. A lot of people go to school a long time learning a bunch of shit that don't matter. Like seriously. So I said anytime you take a class or learn a skill or learn anything from anybody, ask yourself, how does this help you to achieve a specific objective? Right? And so I think that by focusing on education, I think knowing technology and business, that's the way of the future. I don't care what your child does, I think they should have a firm understanding in those 2 areas, and then they can go do other things if they want to. But for example, every black child should know how to start a business by the age of 12. Every black child should own stock. Every black child should know the fundamentals of buying real estate at the age of 12, and also know why it's important to own your community. And then if you do that, then what's happened is we've created 1 million economic soldiers, and what will happen is in the next generation, if we back them with capital and equity-based crowdfunding, things like that, like what Jay Morrison did with the Tulsa Fund, then you can fund those great ideas when they come along. So that's in a nutshell. Yes, ma'am.
Right over in the middle, so we can hear you.
She said this is the last question. But I do a lot of stuff online, so if
We were late talking about that.
Two things. Tomorrow, I am doing a day-long investing seminar. We're going to talk all day about this this kind of stuff. So if you're interested, feel free to go to Dr. Beauty Tyler and get offended you every now and then. I think you might enjoy the conversation.
He's going to be here in LA tomorrow, so if you're in LA, look up Dr. Watkins.
Right now is we're losing this last stronghold of blacks in Los Angeles community. When we had the fall in 08, 50,000 blacks migrated out of Los Angeles. We're at 900,000 blacks, and in this particular region in particular, where the homes are, we are losing those homes. When the parents die and the kids inherit, they sell it. Therefore, we are losing the pot of black people that are left here. How do we address that ASAP? Did you hear it?
Yes. Funny how in different cities it's like the same thing is happening. That's how you know the stuff is playing. Like it's ain't no correlation. Every city, same issue. Even when I was in London, Black London was having kind of the issues of their own. And one of the things that we did in London was right there on the spot, we created an organization, BLAAC, the Black London Asset Acquisition Council, which does work blackness in a different way. And basically the goal was to create it as an investment club where they come together and they talk about moves they want to make financially in their community and how to pool their money and to purchase things. They also learn together. And so this one has his hands up.
They still don't want to say that word.
What's happening in the UK is that the Indian community are the ones gentrifying areas. They're not Europeans. And why do it take place in England? Because we never built the properties we were renting. So what they do, they push up the prices and we have to move out. That's what's happening.
Say that again. Can you?
Indians are gentrifying.
And you say Indians are okay. Indians, immigration. But that's nationally though. Immigration, that's all of us. Nobody wants to say that. And once you respect, they're pushing us out. Nobody wants to say immigration. That's the white elephant.
If you are always paying rent and never been thinking in the direction of ownership, then you're technically homeless. You're technically homeless if you're paying rent and don't actually own what you live in. Now, it's not easy for everybody to do, but that's the direction you want your mind to go.
Hey, I have a question.
The last point I'll make on that is we got elected officials out here.
They're not working for us. They're working for Mexicans. Get it straight. They're not working for black people. They work for illegal immigrants and Mexicans. That's who they're helping.
Standing up here holding my hand, nobody calls them.
We can have Dr. Watkins come back. Let me tell you, coming back, flying on a plane, it's not free. Hold on. What I'm saying, we are going to have to be willing to understand that there's an investment for us to get ahead. Now, for us to do this event, there is no budget. How many of you heard about this on the radio? Raise your hand. Okay, that's not free.
Hey, I want to thank you guys so much. I don't know where the camera is. Okay, I'm going to let her talk, but I want to thank you so much for watching and supporting. Make sure that you subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Let's have this discussion. My main concern about any of this is that they have to recognize that illegal immigration has pushed out communities like that last brother said in England. They're dealing with people from India. We are dealing with people from El Salvador, Guadalajara, and crying babies on the corner. But yet in Planned Parenthood, they're in black communities planted and have us in trash cans. So until black people wake up and recognize that their people nationally are being attacked and pushed aside in a wasteland, in the world.
Report from the hotel. We have the folks who have sponsored this. This is Dr. Rosa
God bless you. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Sign up and join Urban Game Changers. UrbanGameChangers.com will tell you about our conference, which is coming up in less than 3 weeks. UrbanGameChangers.com. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Dig in your pocket. We ain't taking no